you ever gone to bed feeling emotionally drained, only to wake up the next morning carrying that same heaviness? What if I told you that the next 30 minutes could completely transform not just your evenings, but your entire emotional life? Today, we unlock the hidden superpower that most people never discover, a superpower you already possess. Welcome back to Dawn Catalyst, where ordinary moments become extraordinary opportunities. I'm your guide on this journey of transformation, and today we're diving into day 4 of our life-changing series on evening reflection rituals. If you're returning after our first 3 episodes, you already know the power of what we're building together. And if this is your first time here, you picked the perfect day to join us. Before we dive into today's mind-blowing content, I need to share something important. What you're about to hear isn't just another self-help lecture. These are practical, scientifically backed techniques that my community members are using daily to transform their relationships, careers, and inner peace. We release these transformative topics every single day, and today's episode might be our most powerful yet. If what you hear today resonates with you, if you feel that spark of recognition, hit that subscribe button and notification bell right now. I promise you, missing even one day of this journey could mean missing the exact insight you've been searching for. Now, let's unlock today's life-changing practice. How evening reflection rituals can revolutionize your emotional intelligence and completely transform how you experience life. Imagine carrying around an invisible backpack. Throughout your day, every unprocessed emotion, that frustration with your boss, that unexpected anxiety during your presentation, that unexplained sadness during lunch, gets tossed into this backpack. By evening, you're lugging around a weight so familiar you don't even notice it anymore. But your body does, your relationships do, your sleep quality does. What if I told you there's a way to empty that backpack every single night? In our previous sessions, we've revealed how evening reflection supercharges your productivity, amplifies gratitude, and unlocks creative problem solving. But today we're going deeper. Today we're touching the core of what makes us human, our emotions. Your emotions aren't just random feelings, they're sophisticated messengers carrying critical information about your needs, boundaries, and deepest values. But in our hyperconnected, always-on world, we've become masters at silencing these messengers. Not now, we say. I don't have time for this, we tell ourselves. Those ignored emotions don't simply vanish. They go underground, creating what psychologists call emotional debt. And just like financial debt, emotional debt compounds over time, manifesting as chronic stress, unexplained anxiety, mysterious health problems, and relationship conflicts that seem to come out of nowhere. Evening reflection offers a sacred space, perhaps the only space in your entire day to finally listen to these messengers. It's like clearing your emotional inbox before bed, preventing the overwhelming buildup that's silently sabotaging your well-being. I discovered this the hard way. For years, I couldn't figure out why Sunday evenings filled me with inexplicable dread, until one evening reflection session revealed the truth. Unprocessed emotions from the previous week were predicting another week of the same patterns. That single insight changed everything for me, and it could do the same for you. Let's try something powerful right now. Wherever you are, whether driving, doing dishes, or relaxing on your couch, take a moment and check in with yourself. What emotions are you carrying right now? Not just good or bad, be specific. Are you feeling curious, skeptical, hopeful, restless? Name at least 3 distinct emotions you've experienced today. How did that feel? Was it easy to name your emotions? Or did you struggle to find the right words? If you found it challenging, you're not alone. Studies show that most adults can only identify about 30% of their emotional experiences with specific labels. Yet research from Yale University reveals that people who can name their emotions with greater precision experience less anxiety, make better decisions, and have stronger relationships. This simple check in you just did, that's the foundation of emotional intelligence, the single greatest predictor of success and fulfillment in every area of life. And tonight, I'm giving you the exact formula to develop this superpower through your evening reflection practice. After working with thousands of people in our community and studying the latest neuroscience research, I've distilled emotional processing into a powerful 4-step method that you can use tonight. I call it the F.E.E.L method. Find, examine, express, and learn. This isn't complex psychology. It's a practical framework that even my most analytical, emotion-avoidant community members have called life-changing. Find. Step 1 is to find and name your emotions with precision. This isn't just semantic nitpicking, it's neurological reprogramming. When you label an emotion specifically, you activate your prefrontal cortex, the executive center of your brain, which immediately reduces activity in your amygdala, the brain's alarm system. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. Imagine you had a project deadline moved up unexpectedly today. Most people would say, I feel stressed. But what if you went deeper? Maybe what you're actually feeling is overwhelmed by the sudden change in timeline, resentful that your input wasn't considered, anxious about meeting the new expectations, determined to rise to the challenge despite the obstacles. See how different those emotions are? Each one leads to a completely different response. That's the power of finding your precise emotions. One of our community members, Michael, used to describe everything as either fine or not fine. After just 2 weeks of practicing this first step, his wife told me she felt like she was finally married to a human being instead of a robot. His relationships transformed simply by expanding his emotional vocabulary. Examine. Step 2 is to examine your emotion with genuine curiosity, like a scientist observing a fascinating specimen, not a judge delivering a verdict. Try this powerful technique tonight. When you identify an emotion, ask yourself these 4 questions. What specifically triggered this feeling? Not just work, but the comment my colleague made about my project. Where do I feel this in my body? Is it tension in your shoulders, heaviness in your chest, butterflies in your stomach? What thoughts are connected to this feeling? The stories your mind is creating. What need or value of mine is being affected? Security, recognition, connection, autonomy. That last question is where the magic happens. Every emotion is ultimately connected to a core need or value. Anger often signals a boundary violation. Sadness frequently points to a meaningful loss. Anxiety usually indicates a threat to something you deeply value. Sarah, one of our community members who struggled with unexplained irritability, discovered through examination that her frequent frustration was actually about her unmet need for acknowledgement. That single insight transformed her approach to both her work and home relationships. Express. Step 3 is to express the emotion in a healthy, constructive way. This doesn't mean venting on social media or sending that heated text message. It means giving your emotion appropriate space and recognition. Here are 5 powerful ways to express emotions during your evening reflection. 1. Journal uncensored for 5 minutes. Let it all out on the page. 2. Speak your emotions aloud. The vibration of your voice creates physical release. 3. Move the emotion through your body. Shake, dance, or stretch it out. 4. Create a symbolic ritual. Write down the emotion and tear or burn the paper. 5. Use emotional expression cards, visual tools that externalize internal experiences. I remember one evening when I felt an inexplicable heaviness. During my reflection time, I identified deep disappointment about a project that hadn't gone as planned. Instead of dismissing it, I expressed it by writing an unsent letter to myself. The relief was almost immediate, like putting down a weight I didn't know I was carrying. Learn. The final step, and this is where evening reflection becomes truly transformative, is to learn from your emotion. Every feeling you experience, even the most painful ones, carries wisdom if you're willing to listen. Tonight, try asking yourself these powerful questions. What is this emotion revealing about what truly matters to me? How might this emotion actually be trying to protect or serve me? What one action would honor the wisdom of this feeling? How can this experience help me grow stronger or more authentic? This step transforms emotional processing from mere self-awareness into profound self-development. It turns every emotional experience, even the painful ones, into stepping stones toward your most authentic, empowered self. Now, let's put this into practice together. I want you to think about something significant that happened today. It could be positive or challenging, big or small. First, find and name the emotion or emotions this experience triggered. Go beyond basic. Labels like good or bad. Were you inspired, disappointed, proud, conflicted? Next, examine this emotion. What specifically triggered it? Where do you feel it in your body right now? What thoughts come with it? What need or value does it connect to? Now, consider how you might express this emotion during your evening reflection tonight. Would writing about it feel releasing? Would you benefit from speaking it aloud? Or perhaps a physical expression would help move the emotion through your body. Finally, what can you learn from this emotion? What wisdom is it offering you? What action might honor this feeling? How did that feel? Even this brief practice offers a taste of what's possible when you create intentional space for emotional processing. Imagine the power of doing this fully each night as part of your evening ritual. The life changing benefits of emotional processing. Let me share something revolutionary. Consistently practicing emotional processing through evening reflection doesn't just help you manage today's feelings, it fundamentally rewires your brain for greater emotional intelligence over time. The research on this is absolutely clear. A groundbreaking study from the University of Michigan found that people who regularly process their emotions experience 43% reduction in stress related health problems, 37% improvement in relationship satisfaction, 29% increase in workplace performance and leadership effectiveness, significantly better sleep quality and reduced insomnia, greater resilience during major life challenges, enhanced decision making abilities in complex situations. But numbers don't tell the full story. Let me share what happened in my own life. Before I developed my evening reflection practice, I was caught in what psychologists call emotional compounding, where Monday's unprocessed frustration would blend with Tuesday's anxiety, which would amplify Wednesday's irritability, creating an emotional snowball that would eventually crash into my weekend. One particular evening, after weeks of increasing tension with a colleague, I sat down for my reflection practice feeling completely justified in my anger toward them. But as I moved through the feel process, I had a shocking revelation. What I was interpreting as their incompetence was actually my own unstated expectations and poor communication. I hadn't clearly expressed what I needed or by when. That single insight, that 15-minute reflection, completely transformed our working relationship. The next day, I approached them differently, clearly communicated my needs, and discovered they had valuable perspectives I'd been missing. What could have ended in conflict or even job changes was resolved through one evening of honest emotional processing. Now multiply that by 365 evenings a year. That's the compound effect of emotional processing through evening reflection. It's not just about feeling better, it's about becoming better. Overcoming the emotional roadblocks. Now, I want to get real with you. Emotional processing isn't always easy, especially when you're first starting. Let's talk about the three most common challenges my community members face and exactly how to overcome them. Challenge 1: Emotional avoidance. Many of us have been programmed since childhood to avoid negative emotions. Don't cry, we were told. Cheer up, people said when we were sad. This conditioning runs deep, and it might show up as an urge to distract yourself with screens, food, or busyness rather than sit with uncomfortable feelings. If you notice yourself avoiding certain emotions, try this game changing approach. Start with just 2 3 minutes of reflection on physical sensations rather than the emotion itself. Ask, where in my body do I feel tension right now? Physical sensations feel safer to explore than raw emotions. James, one of our community members who described himself as allergic to feelings, started by simply noting the tightness in his shoulders each evening. Within 2 weeks, he was able to connect that sensation to underlying anxiety he'd been ignoring for years, a breakthrough that eventually led him to make a career change he'd been postponing for a decade. Challenge 2: Emotional overwhelm. On the flip side, some of us might get flooded when we start processing emotions, especially if we've been suppressing them for years. You might worry that once you start feeling, you won't be able to stop. Practical instructional tone. If you find yourself becoming overwhelmed, use these powerful containment techniques. Set a concrete timer for your reflection. Start with just 5 minutes. Keep a grounding object nearby, a smooth stone or stress ball to hold. Use the 5-5-5 breathing technique. 5 seconds in, 5 seconds hold, 5 seconds out. Have a transition activity planned for afterward, something light but engaging. Remember, you don't have to process your entire emotional history in one sitting. Evening reflection is a practice, not a purge. Challenge: rumination versus reflection. There's a crucial distinction between healthy reflection and unhealthy rumination. Reflection leads to insight and growth. Rumination is like a hamster wheel of thought that keeps you stuck. If you notice yourself ruminating, going over the same thoughts repeatedly without new perspective, try these pattern interrupting questions. What's one specific action I could take tomorrow based on this insight? What advice would I give my best friend in this situation? How might this look from a completely different perspective? What's the smallest next step that would move me forward? These questions shift your brain from problem circling to problem solving, from passive dwelling to active growth, creating your emotional mastery ritual. Now, let's bring this all together into a practical evening ritual that you can start tonight. Here's your emotional processing blueprint. Set the stage for emotional safety. Create an environment that signals to your nervous system it's safe to explore feelings. Dim the lights, play instrumental music. I've linked my perfect reflection playlist in the description, or light a candle that becomes associated with this practice. Begin with a physical reset. Take 3 deep breaths, intentionally relaxing your shoulders on each exhale. This simple practice activates your parasympathetic nervous system, your body's relaxation response, making emotional processing more effective. Use powerful reflection prompts. Keep a list of emotionally focused questions nearby, such as, "What emotion surprised me today?" Or, "When did I feel most alive today?" Or, "What emotional reaction do I still feel in my body right now?" Apply the FEEL method. Work through find, examine, express, and learn with at least one significant emotion from your day. Close with integration. End your practice by placing one hand on your heart, taking a deep breath, and silently acknowledging yourself for showing up for this important work. This entire ritual can take as little as 10 minutes, but the effects will ripple through every aspect of your life. Let me share a powerful story from Rebecca, a working mother in our community who was on the verge of burnout when she discovered evening reflection. Rebecca described herself as emotionally shut down. Years of juggling work demands and family responsibilities had left her operating on autopilot. She couldn't remember the last time she'd cried or felt true joy. Her relationships were functioning but hollow, and she'd begun experiencing mysterious health problems that doctors couldn't explain. After learning about the FEEL method, she committed to just 10 minutes of evening emotional reflection before bed. The first week was uncomfortable. She faced resistance and found it difficult to name emotions beyond basic labels. But by week 3, something remarkable happened. During one evening reflection, she connected with a deep sadness about moving away from creative work she once loved. That single insight led to tears, the first she'd shed in years, and what she described as an emotional dam breaking. 6 months later, Rebecca reported that her chronic headaches had disappeared. She'd incorporated small creative projects back into her life. Her teenage children told her she seemed more human. And most surprisingly to her, she found herself experiencing spontaneous joy throughout her days, something she'd forgotten was even possible. Rebecca's transformation illustrates a profound truth. When we create space to process all of our emotions, we don't just deal with the difficult ones. We expand our capacity for the entire spectrum of human experience, including joy, wonder, and connection. Tomorrow's promise and call to action. As powerful as today's practice is, it's just one piece of the transformation we're building together. Tomorrow, in day 5 of our series, I'll reveal how evening reflection can align your daily actions with your deepest values and purpose, creating a life of genuine meaning instead of endless doing. We'll build on today's emotional intelligence foundation to develop what psychologists call vertical coherence, where your daily choices naturally flow from your core values rather than external pressures. This is where true fulfillment begins. But first, I invite you, no, I challenge you to implement tonight's emotional processing practice. Here's your exact action plan. Set aside 10-15 minutes before bed tonight in a quiet space. Take 3 deep breaths to center yourself. What were the most significant emotions I experienced today? Choose one emotion to explore using the FEEL method. Journal or speak what you discover. Close with a gesture of self-compassion. Then come back tomorrow and share your experience in the comments. Our community grows stronger when we share our journeys. Thank you for joining me for day 4 of our evening reflection series. What you're learning isn't just another productivity hack or wellness trend. It's an ancient practice supported by cutting edge neuroscience that has the power to transform not just your evenings, but your entire experience of being human. If this resonated with you today, if you felt that spark of recognition, please support our mission by subscribing to Dawn Catalyst right now and hitting that notification bell. We release transformative topics every single day, and I would be honored to continue this journey with you. Your engagement helps our community grow and allows us to keep creating content that serves your highest potential. One subscription might seem small, but it's how we've built this movement of conscious, emotionally intelligent people who are changing their lives and, by extension, changing our world. Until tomorrow, may your evening reflection bring you the clarity, peace, and emotional wisdom you deserve. This is Dawn Catalyst, reminding you that transformation isn't something that happens to you, it's something you create, one evening reflection at a time.